what do you think? The music industry is also heavily dependent on these FM stations right now, right? Yeah. So what was it like working with all these celebrities? And do they like breathe down your shoulders trying to promote them?
What happened was, in our case, this is a very interesting thing, that when we started radio, 2006, we did this huge research, and basically the research sort of concluded that in Bangladesh radio is dead, no one listens to it, and you can run a radio if you play commercial, say, Bangla movie songs or folk songs. But I, being a musician, and my co-producer Arafat at that time, we were musicians, so we decided that no, we don't care, let's play what we listen to. So what happened was, we started playing music from people who were not even considered as singers during that time.
Right.
And I won't name them, but can just tell you that the top, say the 15 of the top 20 singers of Bangladesh came from there. And so, for example, say someone like Fuad was our friend in America, or Habib was our neighbor, just we used to play cricket during Hartal, and stuff like that, yeah. So
these are like really big names in the music industry right now. Fuad is very known for creating his own music, rap and all that.
All of them are huge, but when we started off, they weren't celebrities in that sense.
So you created the listeners for them. That's a big contribution to the music industry.
We just were lucky, or I don't know.
But you also have to have an eye for talent. You can't just put any Tom, Dick and Harry on air and then expect them to draw crowd for your station.
And that's where the selectivity comes. For example, in Radio Futti.
So who used to do that? I mean,
I used to do that.
You used to do that.
So even till now, it's actually the selectivity which gives us the credibility. So, for example, in Radio Futti now, so the biggest musician of the country comes to me with a new song. It does not guarantee it will be played. It has to meet certain criteria. Similarly, say you decide to sing a song in your bedroom, and you give me the song.
Oh, that would sell. That would sell like that.
Yeah, and I see that makes the cut, then that will be on air. So yeah, that's the thing.
I'm sure. So you can be known as a talent scout for Bangladesh as well. Yeah?
Yeah, for lack of a better word. Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Yeah. So I guess being an FM station, you are always compared to the services available in countries outside Bangladesh, right? Like if you're driving down a highway in the States, you have really focused stations, which like R&B, soul, country. There's so many to choose from. So do you think those days are coming to Bangladesh? That's my first question. And secondly, do you get to compare yourselves, or are the standards compared when the listeners, do they come back to you and like, you're not good enough according to a global station, or you're really good?
When it comes to the first thing you said, that is the strategy every other news station should follow, including our competitors. Because we have been the only media who's been specialized. And so maybe it's not a coincidence that we are doing so well.
Right.
So like
the other stations do news, interviews, music.
Basically, most TV channels and radio stations in Bangladesh are sort of like jack of all trades. And I mean, that's good for them. But when it comes to the media, specialization is very basic. As a result, you say, History Channel is about history, National Geographic is about science, BBC about news. So in Bangladesh, you see most of them are sort of a mixture of all that. So going back to your point about music, well, first of all, Bangladesh has to have unique radio stations. No one would want to listen to a poorer version of Radio Futti or a poorer version of Radio Today.
Right.
They would want something new, right? So, and when it comes to the newsness, it will sort of become like America, as you were saying. So then there will be stations, say a Rabindra Sangita station, or a political station, or a sports radio.
So the market is there, you're saying?
Market has to be there, yeah.
So you're saying that it's actually the other way around, as in you create the platform and the market will focus, veer towards that.
Because it's such an infant market, For example, I think if we take, say, 3 crazy people, almost as crazy as me, and what we do is we just talk on the radio from the morning till night and play songs. Bangladesh even has a market for that. So there's a lot of scope for innovation,
Right. So what were some of the crazy things that you had to deal with from your station? I mean, there must have been people who walk in trying to be an RJ or?
Yeah, we constantly get such things, such incidents, but I would think that's normal. That's us being humans. So the crazy part is actually when people try to impose rules and orthodox beliefs or, you know, stuff which the society feels is correct and stuff like that. For us, I think that's more the crazy part. That, I mean, we sometimes have things such as, you know, suppose there's some special day of the month, say some, you know, famous national day, suppose.
Yeah, like we have the Independence Day, Victory Day.
Stuff like that, yeah. And someone would come up, or some big journalist would come up and say, how come you're playing English song in that day? Or how come there's a Hindi song on that day? But isn't that crazy? What's the connection between a Hindi or an English song with that national day?
I mean, a music lover would possibly not differentiate what they're listening to on that day.
I have my content to mark that day. But an Hindi song is not directly related to our national day. And especially when you see the same journalist jumping around in the first row of a Shah Rukh Khan concert. So that, then, you know, the whole thing becomes even more crazy. So, yeah.
We do have a lot of regional artists fans in Bangladesh, that's for sure. So we don't mind listening to their songs, right?
And radio actually sort of brought Bangladeshi musicians to a level where people actually talk about Bangladeshi artists and not, you know, other Hindi songs.
Yeah. It is a big influence,
until Shah Rukh Khan came to town, obviously. So now...
Yeah, Shah Rukh Khan was here.
Yeah.
And then a stream of other hot list celebs
and they'll probably keep on coming. So, but that's so good, because that's a challenge.
You love them, yeah.
Yeah, and that's also a challenge too, because they are actually really great performers.
Right.
So now that's the challenge, that we have to live up to them, match their talents. So.
It's also a big thing to note, Daniel, is that during the World Cup opening ceremony, the kind of response from the crowd that Indian artists got, possibly the Sri Lankan artists didn't get, because we're not familiar with
that's
their
the thing.
Language and stuff like that. We're more familiar, given the satellite channels, with Hindi content, right? Yeah. So it's a good thing. So it actually brings us to the point that we have to promote our culture more at the regional level.
Exactly.
Because the market is, I mean, it's the same kind of music. We just take the words out. The music is almost same.
But we just have to, I mean, this is so true, but we just have to be more liberal. Like, we have to promote, suppose we think we have to promote Bangla music to India, Nepal, but that does not necessarily mean that my form of music has to be very Bangladeshi.
Right.
It can be pop, you know, it can be whatever. It doesn't have to be, you know, Bangla fusion and stuff like that. So that's where we need a change in mentality. Because otherwise, we will be limiting ourselves. The other countries, if they're doing the same, they'll be limiting themselves. So at the end of the day, you know, we'll have to, you know, talk about this thing for next 10 years.
Right. So in TV Southasia actually brings the opportunity to actually experience the songs from players from Nepal. Like, I had no idea that they had such brilliant music videos also.
Oh,
right?
really?
So, Nepal, Sri Lanka, we are exposed to those music videos, to the artists, and that actually encourages us to learn more about the region. Otherwise, we're just limited to what we're doing right
now. For example, if you look at Kolkata, the whole music scene over there is very influenced by Bangladeshi band music. Even say 5 years back, when radios didn't come, even at that time, Bangladeshi band music wasn't that mainstream. We just had 1 or 2 Bamba concerts. But in Kolkata, bands were actually idolizing them and, you know, getting inspired from them. Similarly, when it comes to Pakistani music, it's huge and it's pretty amazing. And most of Bangladesh bands and singers are also very influenced by them. And so this means there's every possibility that we'll take in Sri Lankan music and Nepal will take in Bangladeshi music and all that. So in that respect, TV Southasia is doing a great thing.
Right. But so you are concerned about that 3 minute of a song, right? If in those 3 minutes you don't play a good song, then the audience will shift to some other station, right? So if you play a Sri Lankan song, and I don't think most people in Bangladesh would understand a Sri Lankan lyric, right? But they'd be really enjoying the tunes, of course. But would you play a song from Sri Lanka or Nepal in your station?
Yeah, because first of all, when it comes to me, I never listen to the lyric of the song.
Okay.
I don't know a single lyric. And I'm sort of involved with the music trade. So I'm sure, like, I wouldn't mind.
FM audience in Bangladesh are ready for experimental transmission.
Very much
like
so,
that?
Because I personally did some experiment with, have you heard of Shah Jahan Munshi, the Baul singer? So he had this Baul fusion album, and he's a hardcore Baul, an original Baul guy. And also there's this band called Lokhi Tera, which is from UK, which is Cuban jazz, stuff like that. So these two genres are something you will never find in any commercial radio, because these are very non-commercial. But what we did was we played them out, and then they sort of became popular. So yeah, I believe, and like, we would love to promote, stuff from other countries, and I'm pretty sure there will be a market very soon.
Great. I guess that's good news for all the musicians out there from South Asia who are listening to our and watching our show today. That if you send your CD, if you send your CD to Daniel at Radio Futi, you just might be able to reach a bigger audience in Bangladesh. So that's an opportunity for everybody.
Definitely, and it will be great for us too. We could always do with more better music. So
it must be a really young team at Radio Futi working there. What's the general average age of employees?
It would be something around, say, 25, 26. Say 26. So that's very young for Bangladesh. But that's the thing. When you want to reach out to the youth, I feel you have to be a part of them. So, I think that's almost like a prerequisite. So now that I'm getting old, so I need young people in my team who are sort of representatives of the youth,
Right.
Yeah. And officially youth ends in 29. So I have just...
What? I thought it was 40.
One more month to go, yeah.
It's gradually moving up, right?
Yeah.
Old age is always 20 years after what you are, right?
Yeah.
So that works. So it was brilliant talking to you, Daniel. I'm sure your station will prosper over time, and more people in South Asia will be able to experience your station, right? So I think that brings us to an end of today's episode, and thanks to all of you for watching our show today, and inviting all of you to experience another exciting episode of Talk Dhaka with another guest next week. Till then, goodbye.